There's so much promise. But if you had to ask for one wish to really accelerate what we're doing here today, not just using real world data, but using it for real decisions, real practical decisions, what would you want to see? Whether it's a change in the landscape, a change in users' attitudes. I mean, what is it out there that would really accelerate the ability to start using this data as fast as it can be produced? I mean, what are we waiting for?
That's a great question. And you're sure I only get one, right? I only get one.
I'm only going to give you one on this one. I know
Okay.
there's always tons, but what's your top ask?
Yeah, one of your examples you said is, is it the landscape needs to change? I think the landscape's doing fantastic. Okay. I think the landscape is progressing very well, and that has never been our barrier, our major challenge. I also don't think it's the technology aspect of it. So that means our willingness to understand the methods and having databases and actual IT things that allows us to do real world evidence. I don't think that's a problem either. It's sad for me to say, but it's around perception and perceived risks is really our biggest barrier. So I know in every community, in every group, you're going to have the early adopters, the hungry ones, the mavericks. Then you're going to have the ones that are just completely anxiety ridden and don't go to sleep and need to take, Metamucil often. And then you have the middle cohort that are just kind of like, well, I guess I'll follow what you think is best. My one wish is that cohort of early adopters and those that are willing to really dive in, if that pool would expand, because I feel like those that are, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of the old guard or folks that are stuck in, that's not how we do things, tend to slow down this innovation. But I think that holds true for anything. It's not just RWE, or it holds for, whether it's the newest iPhone versus flip phones or what have you. There's people that like their old stuff and like the old way. But I think if I had a magic wand and a wish, it would to really be to reduce the level of perceived risk and bias. Not to be reckless, but to at least lower that down. And I think many that are around, that have been around for long enough, really appreciate that nobody's in this to be sneaky and to do anything bad. We're all in this to say, no, we're generating good data here. We want it to be used in a useful way. Why would industry want to create data and not really use it? It defeats the purpose. And same thing with those on the public side. If we have access to data, if we're doing really great research, we should not be afraid to make a decision on something that is what used to be considered atypical. And I'm referring to the real world evidence. I think that should become part of the new normal. And if we could help people overcome that hurdle, overcome that hump, and say, okay, the world will not fall apart if we consider real world evidence. The world will not fall apart if we take some innovative approaches to tackling old questions. I think that would be a huge catalyst to how things in our world really work and the benefit that we can provide.
Terrific.